Welcome to New Hampshire's Business. I'm Fred Coker. Almost all residential electric rates in New Hampshire went up August 1st, and commercial industrial rates are reportedly going up too. We're going to find out what's driving them from my guest who just wrote this in July. Quote, "It's a big deal because electric distribution rates, the charges you pay via your utility bill for the poles and wires that connect you to the grid, are increasing well ahead of inflation. It's generally agreed here and almost everywhere that we are in an electricity affordability crisis," he said. And the person who wrote that is New Hampshire's consumer advocate in the Office of Consumer Advocate, Donald Kreis, who is a lawyer and represents New Hampshire consumers before the Public Utilities Commission and other agencies. And he joins me in the studio. Welcome. Nice to have you here.
Great to be with you today, Fred.
Let's look at the first line of commercial utilities and the electric rates, and you can see Eversource, Liberty, Unitil, and the kilowatt hour increase, and then the typical monthly cost over on the far right side. And then down below, supply, transmission, distribution, customer charge, which all goes into those prices. Don, what's happening with these rates and prices? What's driving them?
Well, the cost of wholesale electricity in the entire region of New England is going up, and the energy rates that just went into effect cover the next 6 months, including the 2 really cold months of December and January. The wholesale price of electricity skyrockets during those 2 months, and you see that reflected in the rates that went into effect on August 1st. And it's a double whammy if you happen to be an Eversource customer. 70% of Granite Staters are. Their fixed monthly charge, which is the price of admission, just went up from about $15 to a little less than $20. That's a whopping big increase.
Yeah,
bad
and
news
the
for those folks.
Eversource spokesman said they're reviewing that decision by the PUC.
Yes, they are, but in the meantime, that $20 a month fee is in effect for every Eversource customer. It's
now, the PUC also established a new method, as you know, to set electric rates based on the cost of living rather than the cost of services. What caused that?
Well, the Public Utilities Commission encouraged Eversource to make a proposal for so-called performance-based rate making. That's a new, fancy new way of doing rates that gives the company automatic rate increases based on inflation in the economy and their performance. And I think there's reason to be skeptical about that.
Yeah. And then all the residential electric rates for 2 more major electric utilities providers, and here they are. New Hampshire electric rates as of August 1st. New Hampshire Electric Cooperative, 8.9 to 11.5 cents kilowatt hours, up. And New Hampshire Community Power Coalition, 9.7 to 13.2 or 13.7 kilowatt hour, up. How competitive are those rates of those last 2 providers with the commercial utilities? How competitive are they?
Well, it used to be that the Community Power Coalition was beating the utilities on the price of the actual electricity, but they have to dig themselves out of a little hole they dug last winter, and so they've had to basically add a little premium to their rates in order to rebuild their financial reserve. So all of a sudden, if you're in a Community Power Coalition town, you have a choice to make because they're not cheaper than the utility anymore.
Interesting, interesting.
Very.
We'll get back to that someday. Here, electric sales to U.S. commercial and industrial sectors. Sales to commercial sector to rise 3% in 2025 and 4.5% in 26. And sales to industrial sector, this is nationally now, to rise 2% in 25 and 3.5 in 26. That's just a note. And finally, Dawn. Recent major changes with utility sales in New Hampshire, a significant change in the sale, and we just talked about it, and that's the Community Power Coalition. 64 New Hampshire communities and 4 counties signed up to receive power from them, from the Community Power Coalition of New Hampshire, as of May 1st. And what impact are they having on the commercial utilities taking business away?
I think that's really transformed the electric industry in New Hampshire. And in the long run, I think it's good for consumers because it gives everybody in those towns a meaningful choice to make between the utilities power and the community power aggregation power.
Donald Kreis, consumer advocate in the state of New Hampshire. Thank you. Nice to have you here. All too short, but informative.
Thank you.
If you missed part of this, you can go to WMUR.com, where it will be posted all this week.